Hello coders and developers. Welcome to gilgeekify programming. I'm Saeed Kohansel, your guide on this exciting journey through the world of full-stack web development. Let's dive in and start creating something amazing together. In this video, I will teach you how to visualize your data on the web using JavaScript with the help of chart.js. Chart.js is a lightweight, open-source JavaScript library for creating stunning and interactive charts using HTML5 Canvas. It supports various chart types like bar, line, and pie charts, is easy to use, and offers customization options to suit any data visualization needs. Perfect for modern web applications. I recommend that you check the official documentation of this library for professional use. Also, I will try to provide useful reference links in the description for you. In this video, I will design 9 different charts for you, and I will provide the download link for the full source code. Let's check the preview of all the charts we are going to design, one by one. The chart you are currently viewing is a bar chart. A bar chart provides a way of showing data values represented as vertical bars. It is sometimes used to show trend data, and the comparison of multiple datasets side by side. This one is also a bar chart, but with multiple datasets next to each other. The chart you see here is a horizontal bar chart. As you can see, the data is displayed horizontally. Alright. The chart you see here is called a line chart. A line chart is a way of plotting data points on a line. Often, it is used to show trend data, or the comparison of two datasets. This one is also a line chart, but in a multi-axis format. The next charts are called Doughnut and pie charts. You've probably seen these circular charts quite often. They are divided into segments. The arc of each segment shows the proportional value of each piece of data. They are excellent at showing the relational proportions between data. Well, this type of chart is called a radar chart, which is considered one of the special types of charts. For example, I have compared the physical strength of several athletes. A radar chart is a way of showing multiple data points, and the variation between them. They are often useful for comparing the points of 2 or more different datasets. And now, the last type of chart we are going to create. Scatter charts are based on basic line charts with the x-axis changed to a linear axis. To use a scatter chart, data must be passed as objects containing x and y properties. So, these are all the charts we are going to create. Let's get started. I will create all these charts for you, one by one. Here, I have created 8 HTML files, each with a starter template to make our work progress faster. Well, to use chart.js, you simply need to add the library to the head tag of your HTML file. You need to create a canvas element with a unique ID where the chart will be rendered. Additionally, I have created a container for our chart. Let's check out the CSS I wrote for it. And here, in the script tag, we define the chart and its configuration. For simplicity, I will write the JavaScript as internal script, but you can also include it as an external file if you prefer. Let's start building the chart with a bar chart. First, I am getting the canvas element with the ID bar chart and its 2D drawing context. I'm creating a new bar chart instance using the chart.js library. I'm specifying the type of chart to render as bar for a bar chart. From now on, I will refresh the page after making changes to the code so we can observe the updates. Next, I'm providing the data for the chart. I want to display the sales amount in dollars over 5 months in this chart. So, I will define my data like this. Note that these data points can be fetched from a JSON API. Alright. As you can see, we've created a bar chart that displays our data. Now, let's customize our chart a bit. I'll define the background colors for the bars, including opacity. Excellent. I'll define the border colors for the bars. I'll set the width of the bar borders. Now, I will define the chart configuration options. I'll make the chart responsive to screen size. I'll prevent maintaining the default aspect ratio. Using these two properties will ensure that the chart displays well on mobile devices. Let's check it out. Okay. Now, let's define some other properties. I set the chart's index axis to horizontal, or X. Using the scales property, I configure the chart's axis. I start the y-axis at 0. I configure the y-axis title. I show the title. I add the title text. I set the padding around the title. I choose the title color. I set the font family for the title. I define the font size for the title. I specify the font weight for the title. It's time to check the chart. Great! As you can see, I have created a vertical title for the y-axis. I'll customize the y-axis grid now. I'm setting the color for the grid ticks. Perfect! So, we've created the revenue on the vertical axis. Now, let's add a label called months on the horizontal axis. Very good. So, up to this point, we've created a complete bar chart that displays the months on the horizontal axis and the revenue amounts in dollars on the vertical axis. We've also customized and styled the chart to some extent. Now, I want to teach you how to change the font inside the chart. I set the font and size globally. Note that this is the same font I added in the head tag using Google Fonts. I set the global font family and font size for all chart.js charts. Let's check it. Yes, as you can see, the new font has been applied to the chart. Alright, now let's move on to creating the second chart, the multiple datasets bar chart. I copy and paste the repetitive parts of the code. Okay. In this step, I add more data. I want to add 2 more columns to the dataset. Very well. Let's assume that on our chart, we want to include expenses and profit alongside our monthly sales. So, I add expenses as the second dataset like this. I also use new colors to display expenses on the chart. Let's check the new changes. Yes, as you can see, a new dataset for expenses has been added, and it's displayed in red color on the chart. Now, it's time to add the third dataset, which is profit. Yes, as you can see, we have added profit to the chart. Now, let's define a green color for this dataset. And perfect. That's it. You can use the hidden property, which is a Boolean value, to specify which datasets should be visible or hidden by default in the chart. This is how you use the hidden property that you've learned. So, in this step, we've learned how to create a bar chart with multiple datasets. Now, it's time for the third chart, the horizontal bar chart. If for any reason you want to display your bar chart horizontally, this section is for you. As usual, I start by copying the repetitive code. Okay. Converting a vertical chart to horizontal is quite simple. You just need to change the index axis of the chart from X to Y, then swap the positions of the X and Y axes. Yes, as simply as you can see, we've transformed our vertical bar chart into a horizontal one. Great! Now, it's time to create the fourth chart, which is the line chart. As usual, I copy the repetitive code to get started. The type of this chart is called line. Similar to the previous example with the bar chart, I will again depict the monthly dollar sales on this line chart. Okay, now it's time to define the datasets. I plan to display several motherboard brands along with their monthly dollar sales on this chart. Please note that the numbers and statistics are fictional and for display purposes only. Excellent. This is the initial version of our line chart. Let's customize the chart a bit. The tension property makes the line curved. By increasing the tension value, we can adjust the curvature of the line. As you can see, the line becomes curved. Alright. In this step, I'm adding more data by including motherboards from other companies along with their monthly sales. I'm just generating dummy data. Additionally, I'm defining a color for each of these motherboard brands so that they can be easily distinguished on the chart. I think there's nothing more to say for now. Okay, I think the data is enough. So far, I've created a line chart with the monthly sales data of 5 motherboard brands. Now, let's add titles for the vertical and horizontal axes to the chart. This is the vertical axis title, which represents the sales amount in dollars. And this is the horizontal axis title, which simply says month. Well, that's it for the titles. In this step, I will teach you a trick to improve the user experience. We can change the tooltip settings using these properties. Setting the index as the value for the mode property allows us to enable tooltips for multiple datasets at the same x-axis value. Or to put it simply, when we hover the mouse over a point on the chart, all the data from all the datasets that are on the same axis at that point will be displayed. If we set intersect to false, it will make the tooltips show even when the mouse is not directly over a data point. In fact, when your mouse pointer is closer to any of the data points on the chart, all the data for that column will be displayed. This provides a better experience for the user. What I mean by column is the x-axis. Alright, now it's time to design the fifth chart, which is the multi-axis line chart. As usual, I start by copying the repetitive code. Very well. In this chart, I define 10 years as labels, from 2016 to 2025. I plan to display a chart combining revenue and profit in dollars for each of these years. This is our revenue. And this is our profit. Okay, now I'll define the dollar amounts for each of them. It seems I forgot one amount. Oh, yes. All right. Let's change their colors a bit. Good. So far, we've created a two-axis chart that shows the revenue and net profit based on the years. In this step, I want to define a new title for each of these axes, and also create the third axis, which will represent profit. To do this, I will first define an ID for both labels. One will be positioned on the left, and the other will be positioned on the right of the chart. I mean the labels for revenue and profit. I define the left axis with a linear scale for the y-axis like this. Okay, now let's give it a better appearance. Now, I will define the right axis of the chart, which represents profit. In this multi-axis chart we actually have a set of labels, which are the years, and two datasets for revenue and profit. What I'm doing right now is linking the axes with the relevant datasets so that the corresponding data will be displayed on the appropriate axis. I think the chart we've created is excellent. By using the Draw on Chart Area property, we can prevent grid lines from overlapping with the left y-axis. Let's check this exactly. Yes, as you can see when this property is set to true, the extra lines disappear. Alright, I won't say anything for now. I'll just make a few customizations to this chart. So, the chart we've created is a multi-axis chart, which can be very useful in many cases. Now, it's time to create the sixth and seventh charts, which are donut and pie charts. These types of charts are both visually appealing and very simple to create. Okay, in this step, you will learn how to display multiple charts on a single web page. I have defined two separate canvases for both of these charts. And, as always, we begin by copying the repetitive code. Since we're creating multiple charts on a single page, we need to assign unique context names. As I'm creating two charts, I'll define a separate context for each of them. I specify the chart type as Doughnut. I define labels for each segment of the Doughnut chart. I configure the dataset. I assign data values corresponding to each label. I set background colors for each segment. I define border colors for each segment. I specify the width of the borders around each segment. I set the hover offset to enlarge a segment when hovered. The hover offset property works like this. It enlarges a segment of the donut chart when you hover over it. Let me add the responsive feature. OK. So, that was our donut chart. Now, let's move on to creating a pie chart. Yes, as you can see, our pie chart was created effortlessly. In fact, to switch between these two charts, you simply need to change their type. Let me change its data. Very well. Now, it's time to create the 8th chart, the radar chart. As usual, I start by copying the repetitive parts of the code. The type of this chart is called a radar chart. In this chart, I want to compare the physical strength of 3 athletes. Very good. Let's insert the data and customize the chart. OK. That's awesome now. I want to change the color for the labels on the axes. I will also change their font and size. Now, they look much better. Using the angle lines property, I can show lines from the center to the chart points. The suggested min property defines the minimum value for the chart scale, while the suggested max property sets the maximum value for the chart scale. Let's customize the ticks a bit. Ticks are the numbers displayed vertically in the center of the chart. Okay. Now, I want to customize the legend titles a bit. Legends are the titles displayed above the chart, which, in our case, represent the names of the athletes. Well done. In this step, I want to share a practical tip with you. You can customize the tooltip as well. Let's see how. Alright, so this is how you can customize the tooltips. I made a typo. Let me fix that. Okay, the radar chart creation is complete. Now, it's time for the ninth and final chart we want to create, which is the scatter chart. First, let me copy the repetitive code sections. The type should be scatter. In this chart, I want to compare desktop and laptop CPUs in terms of processor speed and power consumption. X refers to the horizontal axis, and Y refers to the vertical axis. I will place the processor's speed values on the x-axis and the power consumption values on the y-axis. Very well. It's time to customize the chart. Now, let me insert the laptop data as well. This is great. I need to change these numbers a bit. Okay. Let's add a responsive feature to this chart. Now, I want to define a title to be displayed at the bottom of the chart. This horizontal axis represents processor speed. Very good. The step size property defines the increment between tick marks on the x-axis. Now I want to define a title for the vertical axis on the left side of the chart. This vertical axis represents power consumption. Perfect. Now it's time to customize the legend at the top of the chart. Okay, let's move on to customizing the tooltip, which is essential for this chart. If you remember, I showed you how to customize tooltips in the previous chart. As you can see, these values in the tooltip are hard to understand and need their corresponding labels displayed alongside them for better clarity. I'm defining a clear and user-friendly title for the tooltip that will display values alongside their corresponding labels. Yes, as you can see, the tooltip is now much easier for the user to understand. It just needs a colon character. Now, it looks perfect. So, in this video, we've designed 9 charts in different types. Great job, everyone! If you found this video helpful or enjoyable, please give it a thumbs up. To stay updated with my latest content, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I value your thoughts and feedback, so don't hesitate to leave a comment. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this video beneficial.
Because I will not quit, no, because I want this. Don't try to stop me now.